Hello, my name is Sean. In this video tutorial, I'm going to take a step further from the previous tutorial where we actually created the structure of the software application. In this video tutorial, I'm going to concentrate on the FRM main app. So let's double click the main app. So here what we are going to do, we are going to actually add a button and a picture box and a label. So let's put the picture box there, let's put the label there, let's put the button here, let's increase the width, the height here. Okay, so we have a picture box, we have a button, and we have a label. I'm not double clicking anything, I'm not renaming anything yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to basically highlight by clicking somewhere here. I'm going to highlight all these three objects. I'm going to hold the control key down and then I'm going to click and drag downwards until I actually create another copy of this. I can follow the same process so I can actually create more copies if I want to. For this tutorial, I'm just going to create three different rooms. So the first picture box, I'm going to go to the properties window now. And I'm going to rename the picture box PB room 1. And I'm going to copy this, Control C to copy. I'm going to go to the second picture box and I'm just going to rename it as PB room 2. I'm going to go to the third picture box. I'm going to call it PB room 3. Next, I'm going to rename the label. So for the name of the label, it's going to be LBL room 1. I'm going to copy this, Control C to copy. I'm going to select the next button, label, and I'm going to call this LBL room 2. And I'm going to select the next label. I'm just going to rename it to room 3. I'm not going to bother changing the text value because I'm going to change the text value dynamically. Next, I'm going to select the first button here and I'm just going to change the name of the button to BTN room 1. I'm going to highlight and Control C to copy this. I'm going to select the next button and I'm just going to rename it to BTN room 2. I'm going to select the next button. I'm going to rename it BTN 3. Again, let's change the text value on this button actually to available. Let's copy this. Let's paste this here. Let's paste this here. So by default, we're going to have the buttons available. So we have the three different picture boxes. Picture box for room 1, picture box for room 2, picture box for room 3, button for room 1, button for room 2, and button for room 3, and label for room 1, room 2, and room 3. So here next to it, we could actually put another picture. Let's put picture box, where we can actually put room 1 or room 2 or room 3. Or, let's delete that. We could put a label here. And we can change that to the text value to room 1. This will be a static value. And for the name, I'm just going to change that to LBL R1 because I already have room 1, which is that one. Call this R1. And I'm going to select that one here. I'm going to go to the font. Let's change the size to maybe 20. Let's change the color to color of your choice. Let's make it bold as well. Alright. So I'll leave this as it is now, room 1. Now I'm going to hold the control key down and click and drag this downwards. And now I'm going to call this, the text value for that one will be room 2. And it's going to be LBL R2. That one will be LBL R3. And the text value, it's going to be room 3. Okay, so I've got my rooms here. The next thing I need to do is start coding. So what I will need to do, I will need to basically double click on the, in fact, before we start coding, let's go to do one more thing. If we'll go to my project and go to the settings, we need to create some settings here. So I'm just going to call this room 1, call this room 2, call this room 3. Let's put here tick by default, tick, oops, because we have them available. So I'm just going to type here tick, oops, tick. You can type wherever you like to type there. I'm just going to create a picture in a minute, a tick, image of a tick, and an image of an X as well. So leave the default value because available to tick here. Let's go to Photopea. Let's create a new project, so photopea.com. And I'm just going to change that to 64 by 64. So I only need a small picture here. I'm just going to create a new layer and hide the bottom layer. I'm just going to use the rectangle tool. Left click on the rectangle tool, and in fact I'm going to use the custom shape tool. Click on the shapes, and I'm just going to search here for tick or check. Okay, let's select that one. Let's select the color. Just going to use this color here, and I'm going to hold the shift key down while I'm clicking and dragging. Okay, then I'm going to use the move tool and click and drag it right in the middle. So I've got my tick. So I'm going to go to File, select Export as PNG, and click Save. And I'm going to create a new layer now. I'm going to hide this layer. I'm going to use the custom shape tool again. I'm just going to put here X. Let's use this X here. Let's change the color to blue. You can change the color to anything you like. I'm going to go to File, select Export PNG. Okay, so I've got my both PNGs. Let's change the names. So I'm going to rename this to X. Yes. I've got another X there before, from before. Let's delete this. Let's try to rename this again, X. And I'm going to call this tick. Okay, so I've got the X and the tick. Let's put them on the side. Let's minimize this. The next thing I need to do is go to Resources tab. Click on the drop down list here. I'm going to select Add Existing File. I'm going to go to the Downloads. I'm just going to highlight both of these pictures. Click Open. So I've got them now into my project. As you can see, they're there now. So this called tick and this called X. And on my resources, oops, or my code, I'm going to basically call them through this. So on the settings, I've got by default tick, so it should show me the tick, and I will change the value to X if the room is booked. If the room is not booked, it's going to be ticked. If the room is booked, it's going to show the X. Okay, let's go back to the main project. Let's double click on the button, and here on the button BTN room 1, I'm going to start by actually creating a variable dimension dim result as dialog result is equals to message box dot show, message box, that's the one, dot show, and then I'm gonna type are you sure you want to change the status. Now if the answer is yes, so I'm gonna put here confirmation, and then I'm gonna put comma. Let's collapse this and this and this so we have more space for the code. So confirmation, yeah, comma, and then we'll say message box buttons. Do have them available? Yes. Message box buttons, yes, no. This is what I need. Comma, message box, icon question, message box. Let's type message box icon dot question. You will see exactly why I'm doing this. I'm generating a dialog box here, a message box. So now I'm going to create the if statement. So I will say if result equals, if result equals dialog result dot yes, then I want something to happen. So dim result, if I put here the T there, result, okay. So I'm generating a dialog box, and this dialog box will give the user an option yes or no. If they select yes, then they can make the changes. If they select no, no further changes will be made. So here now I need to create another if statement. So we'll say if btn room 1 dot text is equals to available. I know by default it's going to be available. Let's put this in double quotes. Available, yeah. Then I want something to happen. What I want to happen is the lbl room 1 dot text to be equals to, and then in double quotes I'm going to put x. Then I will say my dot settings dot room 1 is equals to, and then I will say lbl room 1 dot text. Then I want to save my settings. So basically, if it's available, if I click and the user clicks select yes, if it's available, it's going to change the status. Okay, so the label room, it's 1, it's going to change it to X. Then I'm going to pass the X into my settings, and now I'm going to save my settings. So my dot settings dot save. Then we're gonna say button1, oops, btn room1 dot text equals booked, oops, let's put that as a string, so booked. And now I'm going to generate a variable, so I'm going to create a new dimension. So I will say dim image, so I can actually display the image from my settings, from my resources. So image, let's call it room1. We're going to assign a string data type, and we're going to say is equals to my.settings.room1. And then we're going to generate the variable here. So dim image r1 as an image. I will say this is equals to c type, and in parentheses we're going to point to the resources. So we're going to say my.resource manager dot get object dot get object, and then we're gonna basically say the object is image room1, which is an image, and this way we're gonna, now we want to display this image into the picture box. So we're going to say pb room1 dot image equals, oops, is equals to image r1. So we display now this picture. We create the variable here from the settings, so that, which in this case is x. Then we basically generate, locating the path of this variable. So you're creating a new variable because the picture is on within the resources, and basically now we point it to the picture box. It's going to be display an image, and the image is the image r1, which basically is going to pull it from the resources. So next, what we're going to do is we are going to refresh basically the label now. So we'll say my.settings.room1 is equals to lbl r1, sorry, room1 dot text, and then we're going to create an else if statement. So else if btn room1 dot text is equals to booked, so if is already booked, then oops, booked, let's press the enter key. No, sometimes it doesn't put it, so let's type it manually. Then what we want to do is let's put first of all the label, so lbl room1 dot text equals to tick. Then we're gonna say my dot settings, let's change the settings basically, dot room1 equals lbl room1, and now we need to save our settings. Oops, we need to put dot text room1 dot text, and then we'll say my dot settings dot save. Then we need to create the variable dim image room1, oops, image room1 as string is equals to my.settings. Instead of actually doing this, I'm just going to copy this, because this is exactly what we're doing here. Let's Control V to paste that. So basically I'm generating the variables, and now I need to display the picture box. So let's put the picture box is already here. I'm going to display basically the new label, which is going to be the check. So here it's going to be the X, here it's going to be the check. Okay. Now we need to basically put that the room is available. So let's say btn room1.text equals available, my.settings dot room1 equals lbl room1 dot text, and we can put an else statement here, else btn room1 dot text equals, and we can put some question marks here. We don't have a clue basically what it is. We shouldn't have a problem, because it's going to be or tick or X. Based on the settings, if it's tick or X, let's go back to the settings here. Let's get the Solution Explorer. Let's pin that. Let's go to properties and pin that as well. Okay. So if we go back to my project here, based on the settings, it's going to be or tick or X. So we can replicate the same process. Let's test the first one, make sure that the first room is alright. So let's log on. In fact, instead of keep logging on over and over again, let's go back to my project and click on application, and the startup form. I'm just going to change the startup form to main app, so I don't have to keep logging in. I can always change it later on. Okay, so if I click here, are you sure you want to change the status? If I click no, nothing will happen. If I click yes, okay, I've got an X here, so I'm missing the X here. Let's stop that. Let's go to my main app. Let's change the status, the size mode to stretch image. Let's do the same for the rest of the images. So I don't want to cut the picture in half and stuff, or part of the picture missing. Okay, that's better. So let's try again. Let's click here. Let's click yes. Okay, it's booked. If I click here, click yes, it's tick. Okay, it's booked. It's tick. Okay, it's available. So if there is a tick, it's available. Now the tick, the labels, I will remove them. I'm going to make them invisible, so the user will not be able to see these labels. This is for me for testing purposes. So booked. So if I close this now and run it again, okay, it doesn't display this because I need to put the command into the form. So when the form loads, it will show the current status. Okay, so let's do that first. So if I double click on my form, so on the form load, what I want to do is put the status here. So we'll say let's create the variable first. So we'll say dim. In fact, I can copy the variable from the button. So I want the variable resources. In fact, I'm gonna copy this as well. Let's put this there. Let's put some programmers comments here as well. So I'll put single quote, load the room status, room 1 status from the settings. Okay, I can put here starts here, and then I can copy that, I can paste it there. Let's remove the extra spaces there. That will put ends here. Okay, so we have the picture here. Now for the picture box, we can display the picture box here as well. So what we need to do here, we need to create, in fact, the picture box. I'm going to put the picture box later. Let's create an if statement. So I will say if my.settings.room1 is equals to tick, then I want something to happen. Let's put them here. I didn't add this automatically. Now it's at there. Right, so then I want something to happen. What I want to happen is btn room1 dot text is equals to available. We need to convert to a string. Available. Then we have the picture box. Let's put the picture box to display the current picture. And then we're gonna say label 1. So LBL room1 dot text equals my.settings.room1. Then I'm going to create an else statement. So else, well, let's do else if my.settings.room1 equals, let's check if it's x. If it's x, then I will say btn btn room1 dot text equals booked. Then we can get the picture box and the label. Basically we're kind of repeating ourselves here. Okay, coding. Okay, so let's find out what we're doing here. So we create the variable that basically pulls the images from the resources. Okay, then we create an if statement. If the settings on the room shows tick, so if we go back here to the settings, if here states tick, then what we want to have is on the btn room1, we want to make sure that the text shows available. Also, we want the picture to show, the correct picture to show, and which is the tick box, and we also want the label to show the status, which is basically in this case says tick. Else, if the room is x, the status on the settings is x, then we want the room1 to show as is booked. We show the picture, the appropriate picture, which is the x, and then the label basically will display the x. Let's save this, and if we run that, so wherever settings we had before, as you can see now is loading, so we have x and x, so it matches. So we need this label to compare the variables, so we can click here, yes, are you sure? It's ticked, and now it says available. If I click again, yes, it's booked. If I click again, yes, it's ticked. If I close this project, if I stop the project and run the project again, I can see it remembers the settings. You can change the color of the background colors as well. I'm not going to show you how to do this. You can play around, or you can put things on the comments. I will reply to you. You can do all sorts here. Now, here shows label 1 because I have not logged on. So this status will show when I follow the proper process of logging on. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to replicate this code to basically show the status of the room 2 and room 3. I'm going to highlight this code. Let's remove the extra spaces here. I'm going to highlight this code here, including the programmer's comments. Control C to copy, or right click and select copy. I'm going to open Notepad, Control V to paste, and I'm going to change all the number 1s to number 2. So replace all. So straight away now I've got everything converted to room 2. I'm going to paste this there. I'm going to go back to my Notepad and I'm going to change that to 2 and that one to 3. Click replace all. I'll change now everything that is room 2 to room 3. Easy peasy. Okay, so now I need to follow the same process for the button. So this is the button 1, so the BTN room 1. I'm going to copy my content, the content the code I've added earlier within the private sub BTN room 1. I'm going to right click and select copy, or Control C to copy. I'm going to go to my Notepad, replace this text with a new text, and I'm going to change everything that is to do with room 1 to room 2. Replace all. Easy. Control C to copy, so highlight everything now. Control C to copy. I'm going now back into the main app, design view, double click on the BTN room 2, paste the code. Then I'm going to go to here. I'm just going to change all the room 2 to room 3. The only thing I need to change is the number. Replace all. Highlight everything, Control C to copy, or right click and select copy. Let's go here. Let's go back to the main app. If you cannot find it, it's easier to basically double click here. We're going to double click on the room 3 and put the room 3. Now let's save everything. Let's run the software. So everything is available because I changed the status before to all of them to be ticked. So if I change that to booked, unbooked, let's stop the project. Let's go back. Everything is booked. This is free now. So everything saves. Let's follow the full process of logging on. So let's go back to the project and application, and let's change the startup form to the login form. Let's click start. Just going to log on as Lee. So l@gmail.com, 123 his password, enter. Welcome back, Lee, and these are the current rooms. That's good. So if you don't want to keep logging in as Lee by typing the or whatever name you're gonna put over and over again, what I can do, I can go to my login page for now, but make sure you're not gonna forget when you release, when you're ready to release the project. So I'm just gonna put l@gmail.com. So it's always there, this information, and I'm just going to put here 123. So every time now I'm going to start the software, the information is there. So the only thing I need to do is just click go. All right. So let's make this disappear. So we still need them. We still need to make sure that they're there, but we don't want to display them. Let's go back to the main app. I'm going to select the label 1, and I'm just going to change the visibility status to false. I'm going to do the same for the label 2, visibility status to false. and the label, the third label, visibility status to false. So now if I run the software, okay, I cannot see the software, so I cannot see the labels. Now you can move a little bit the picture boxes further down and stuff. Let's make the picture box, oops, let's stop the project. I'm gonna make the picture box same height as the buttons. Okay, that's better. Okay. So I've got room 1, room 2, and room 3, and I can actually now keep a track of the records. What you can also do as well, as an afterthought, we can put, let's put a message for the next member of staff. So staff members can actually put messages. So we can actually put here a label, and I'm just gonna call this message, and I'm just gonna put another label here, which is gonna be the actual message. So I need to give a clear name, so I'm gonna call this LBL message, and let's go to the settings. Settings. I'm just gonna call this message. Let's call it staff message, and I'm just gonna put here no new messages, no new message by default. So let's go back to the main app, and the staff members, they can actually put here, we're gonna put a button I'm just gonna call this save message. Let's put a label. I'm just gonna type the text file here. The text value is going to be please add a message. And I'm going to put a text box to enable the user to put a message. Let's put this message further down. You can create a panel as well. Let's put a panel, make it a bit fancy. Let's change the background color of the panel to something else. Okay, so please add the message. So let's call this txt message. And when somebody clicks on the txt message, we're going to say txt message.text is equals to my.settings staff message dot, okay, staff message, that's it. And then we're going to say my.settings.save. Let's click, in fact, before we test that, let's go to the FRM load, form load, which is here. When the form is load, it's going to load. We want to say LBL message, what do you call a message? Yeah, message.text is equals to my.settings.staff message. So let's copy that as well. And let's put also this on the button, so to display the actual message on the label. Let's go back here. Let's make this bit to stand out. Let's make it bold. Let's change the font size. Excuse me. Let's make it 30. It's taking over. 30, so I think it's too big, but I'll leave it like that. That's okay. Let's make it a bit smaller, actually. Make it 20. Yeah, that's better. Let's increase the font size on the text. Let's make it 11. All right, so let's play. Let's log on. No new message, so it's picking up what we added on the settings here. No new message. That's good. So on load on form load, it works. So let's add the message. Hi, let's see, who's Alex? Yeah. Hi, Alex. Please note that the customer XXXX has left the keys in the ... So when Alex basically comes and pick up, basically log on to the system, he will be able to actually see the message. Okay, so all right, we have not changed that. Let's see what happened there. Yeah, we have not changed that. I think I know what I've done. Let's go back to main app. Let's go to save. Right. Yep, my bad. So we need to change the order here. So the settings will be equals to the text box. Okay, my.settings.staff message is equals to the text box. Yeah, that's better. Let's play again. Let's put here. Hi Alex, please note that the customer XXXX has left the keys at, and click save. So now we have an issue here with the we can put scroll bars. Have an issue here with the displaying the full text here, so we need to wrap it. Okay, so or we can put limit on the characters. Okay, so let's stop that. Let's play again. Okay, so the message is stored. So the next thing we need to do is basically fix the wrapping part. Okay, we can do this by selecting the panel. and basically go to the events. So here we have the properties. If we click the lighting bulb here, we go to the events. We are going to scroll up and down until we find the size changed. So let's go here, size changed. We're going to double click on size changed, and here we're going to type LBL message dot maximum size is equals to new space size, and then we're going to point to the panel one. Do I call it panel one, or do we leave the default name? Let's go back to, let's go to properties. Yeah, we'll call panel one. Let's call it PNL message. Let's go back to the code. So PNL message dot width, comma, let's put here 0, and then LBL message dot size is equals to new size PNL message dot width, comma, LBL message LBL message dot preferred height. Let's put preferred size. Excellent. What's that? Your size. That's better. LBL message. Yeah, let's put preferred height. Preferred height. Okay. So if we save this, let's run it. And now I can see that my text going in multi-line. So if I put here longer text, save. Okay, I can see my text going to multiple lines. Let's go crazy. Control A, Control C, Control V a few times. Okay. So I can put some scroll bars later on as well. So for the meantime, it's gonna stop the video. I can actually extend it by actually adding scroll bars. You can actually add scroll bars. If we go back to the panel here, let's increase the height of the panel manually here. I'm gonna select the panel. I'm going to scroll down or up to find the auto scroll, and we're going to change that value to true. Now we'll press start and log on. You can actually see the scroll bars. So the messages will be fully displayed. If we put here new message, hi there. This is a test message. Please note Control C, Control A, Control C, Control V a few times. Let's press play, save. So we have saved it. So let's paste it one more time, and now we have the scroll bar. So the message will be displayed. Now if you want the message label to be above, let's stop that. Let's put this outside the label here. Let's put the label there. Let's press start. Let's log on. Let's put some more messages here. Okay. So we can scroll now, and we can actually see the message. You can customize the font size and colors, etc., etc. So I hope you've learned something new today. I hope you will be able to apply these new skills in order to create powerful applications. Thank you for now. Bye.